who is a Roman Catholic and a father. And we'll be getting to have a conversation about the recent developments in the world of the Catholic faithful and the expectations ahead. So welcome, Father Dan, to this particular conversation.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Asante. So we can begin by you introducing yourself just more than I have. Tell us what you do, and part of your mission work, what you have been up to, and how you met the current Pope for the first time. How was the interaction?
Thank you very much. Good evening, viewers. My name is Father Daniel Mali, as you have heard. I'm a Catholic priest who is religious for that matter, affiliated to the order of St. Augustine. It's a religious order within the Catholic Church where we are missionaries sent throughout the world to proclaim good news all over the world. I'm also a lecturer. I also teach at Consolata International University. I also work as an assistant parish priest at Sacred Heart Babadogo in Nairobi. And at the same time, I work as vocations director. That means I'm the priest in charge of recruitment to those young men who wants to become priests with the order of St. Augustine. The Pope we have Leo the 14th. I know him in a very personal way. This is a man who has been our superior. That means the priest who has been in charge of us. He has been in charge of our institution for 12 good years. And throughout the 12 good years, he has been visiting Kenya. But in a very special way, last year we had one of our chapels, whereby in the church we normally have what we call consecration, whereby the church is blessed and consecrated to be able to be used. And our regional superior here in Kenya welcomed him to be able to be the one to consecrate. And by then, he was the cardinal. And when he came, that was last year, 12th December. When he came from the airport, instead of going direct to where the chapel is, he requested that he comes to our parish. And that was my latest encounter with him. And during former days when he was a mere priest, he used to visit us. And when he visits us, there are things we call canonical visitation, whereby as our superior used to listen to each of the friar or each of the priests. He listens to your joys, he listens to your sorrows, and he also gives you way forward on your challenges and your difficulties. So this time around, he came for the purposes of consecrating the church. But when he came, when he decided to come and visit us in the parish here, he was excited to see the development which has happened around this area. He could say, the last time I came here, the road was very bad, was not so good, but there's a little bit of development. He even moved around and he saw some fresh buildings within the parish area community. And it was like, the last time we were here, we tried to look for funds, we did this and that. He's a man, in my own experience, who has details and who doesn't need to be told of how societies are. As he said during his, when he was being shown to the world, that the church is being called missionary. He's a true missionary. He has come to Kenya so many times, to Tanzania, in Africa, because we have missions in Congo, we have missions in Nigeria. When he finished his term, he went to work in Peru. And I have some photos which you can see him working with the poor. So he's a man who is missionary. He knows the image of the world today. Again, when we're with him, he has a very smiling face and calm. He's a person who makes you feel at home. And especially with the world of today, whereby people need somebody to be listened to. He's a listener. He's a calm listener. Again, he's a man who has also done a PhD. He's a doctor in canon law. So he has a very sound knowledge of the teachings of the church. When you talk to him, when you listen to his homilies, you feel he's a person who convinces you. So we are expecting a lot from our charism as Augustinians, because we have a lot of emphasis on living together, community living, whereby brothers live together in oneness of mind and heart, whereby Christ becomes the center of our living. And he's a person whom I'm expecting, as he becomes the leader of the church, he will guide us towards that direction. Those are my few remarks I can make on that aspect.
All right, thank you, Father Dan. Now, Pope Leo XIV is stepping into a role with enormous spiritual and global influence. And the much that you know about him already, that compared to the very little that we know about him today, what do you think are the main the intricacies of the things that really made him to be promoted to such a global space with a global influence and becoming literally a father to all the Catholics in the global space? What are those things about him that you think these are the things that led to him being elected to that particular top seat?
Um, it will be a lie on my part to try to tell the intricacies which happened in the conclave. But from the qualities he has as a person and as a leader, one, he has a global overview of the church. Remember, before his election, he had been promoted to the prefect of the Dicastery of Bishops. This is like a ministry, in quotes, if I put it in Kenyan terms, which is in charge of selection of bishops in the world. So he had a general overview of bishops within the world. That is one of the major, I think, could have been contributing factor. Number two, being a supreme leader within the organization, Order of St. Augustine, which is a world international organization, he had a view of the world. And through his missions as Augustinian's prior general, he has moved around the world and he met so many leaders, and especially his colleague cardinals who had been selected by Pope Francis. Number three, he had a very close relationship with Pope Francis. They share so many things together. And in the Catholic Church, we have continuity. And I believe he was a face of that continuity. That is a religious, again, but he's a person who is down to the earth as Pope Francis. He's also a person who demonstrated that he's also able to go to the margins as Pope Francis, whereby he encouraged her to smell like the sheep. And looking at the name he also picked can also tell you a lot. Pope Leo XIV. If you remember, Pope Leo XIII wrote what we call Rerum Novarum, which is a document about social workers, social justice for those who are working. So he's also a person who is concerned about the people, those who are working, and is able to go down to the lowest in the society. I think those are aspects which tell about his heart. He's an empathetic father. And I think those qualities everybody else would be attracted to. I think those are the qualities which probably attracted the cardinals to elect him.
All right, thank you. When you mentioned some of the things that are in common, just on a light note, in common between the Pope today and the predecessor, I was glad to notice and to take note a few hours ago that actually part of his birth names, or Francis appears in his name. So he's before previous name appears. Most people actually don't know that there's a Francis in between. But that's on a light note. You mentioned about social justice and something that was really profoundly associated with Pope Francis the late. And as Pope Leo comes in, what do you feel that he should do in terms of continuing the legacy of social justice and maybe other issues like climate change, which are global issues that we look to global leaders to solve in one way or the other? Issues like modernization, even to add on. What do you think this priest should be able to do to counter some of the world problems we have today?
As you have rightly indicated, Pope Leo XIV, after seeing what he has done, he will bring a lot of continuity on climate change. It's an aspect which is very passionate about the way I know him. The second aspect is something which happened in the United States government recently. And he questioned, is US government empathetic with the feelings of the people it's deporting? integration of the world. I feel is a Pope who is going to emphasize much on integration, whereby people are being called to live together as brothers and sisters with common home, common ancestry, and with a common future. Number 3, I feel this is the Pope who is going to emphasize much on social inclusivity, whereby everybody else feels is accepted. He's a person who looks forward to meet with everybody with a smiling face. I believe he's going to bring about unity. He's also going to talk to the world, especially matters to do with peace. Today, Ukraine, people are suffering. Here, our neighbors, South Sudan, people are suffering. Our neighbors, the other side, Somalia, there is a lot of fight. There is a lot of threats of fight, left, right, and center. He's a man of peace. He's a man who smiles. And smiling is the beginning of peace. I feel today the world of today needs peace. And I'm looking forward to see him being that promoter of peace, among other things. But again, he's also expression because he is a successor of Peter. And above all, he's supposed to teach us faith. So as a Catholic leader, and not only Catholic, but as a leader of the world of faith today, he is going to bring about affirmation of our faith. Remember, he came from nowhere. He's not among those who are being thought he can be. But through him, God affirmed us. God has given us a leader. Remember, when you have read the Bible, the story of David, you know, where Jesse was told, bring your sons. And he was like, this one is very small. And I believe that is how the great King David was made. I have a very strong feeling with the Augustinian spirituality, very strongly with him. He is going to lead the world of today in oneness of mind and heart. Remember, he said, which are the words of St. Augustine, who is my father in faith, that he told the listeners of Rome and all Christians by extension, with you, I am a Christian, and for you, I am a bishop. And for that reason, we will be able to walk in faith together towards Christ. So above everything else is going to lead us together with him towards Christ.
All right, thank you. And let's talk a bit about the choice of the name. And you hinted before, when we talked about Leo, you shared about Leo the 13th, who wrote Rerum Novarum. I'm not very good with that particular language, but it's something you mentioned in that document about social justice. And I'm reminded of Leo the Great, who came before him, Pope Leo the Great, who came way before him, and at one point negotiated with that leader known as Attila the Hun to stop the destruction of Rome. And there are other Pope Leos, I believe, who came in between that Pope Leo the Great up to this particular time. What do you feel led to him actually picking this name, Pope Leo the 14th? Is it a combination of the characteristics of the popes that were named Leo that came before him? Is it a specific Leo? Do you happen to know anything in that regard?
Just to give you a small background of why popes get new names. If you heard his original name, the name of the cardinal, is Robert Francis Cardinal Prevost. That was his original name. And in the Catholic Church, when you elected a pope, you are given an option to choose a new name. It's an expression of new beginning. It's an expression of your detachment somehow from the past, because now you are gaining a new, I'll call it a new job or responsibility of being a successor of Peter. Now, how do you choose the name? If you remember, the previous pope was inspired by St. Francis of Assisi, who had a very strong connection with Mother Nature, who had a very strong connection with reality, seeing God in everything as a Jesuit also. Here we get a new pope who chooses Leo. As you had alluded to, choosing Leo has an aspect to do with other popes who are called Leo. And I wasn't in his mind, but I have a very strong feeling that he chose after Leo the 13th. And Leo the 13th is more of a continuation of that spirit, which for me is a completion of what Pope Francis had advocated for. It's more of continuation also of Pope Francis, whereby it is not only the nature, but also we look at the human beings. If you have rightly said, Leo the Great negotiated cessation of destruction of Rome. You know, destruction of Rome. Why? Human beings are there. When Rome is destroyed, life is destroyed. When social justice is not upheld, life is destroyed. When jobs are not taken care, lives are destroyed. When young men and children go to school, there's no jobs. When people go to work and they're not paid well, social justice, we talk about life being destroyed. I believe it was inspired by the challenges of the world today. Environment, destruction of life. Violence, destruction of life. So it is question of he feels he's there to affirm life and continuation of life.
All right, thank you, Father. Even as we get ready to release you, thank you so much for your time. I just want, in 20 seconds, away from yourself, because you have really interacted with Pope Leo the 14th on a close and a personal level. There are other Catholic faithful on ground, and especially in Kenya, and of course, I know you're in touch with other leaders across the world. Any surprise reaction with this particular election and the outcome of the voting, and what are people saying on the ground? Are there any surprise reactions to this?
Today as I was moving around, people have been calling me, oh, friend of the Pope, so many other things. When I moved around my Christians in the morning, I had morning mass with them. They were very happy. They are saying, we never knew God gives, they move around where we are. They never believed that man who came around celebrated mass with them as a priest, the other day passed around as a cardinal, would eventually come out of the window there and be the Pope. We have realized that, and the feeling I have, and from them, is that the genuinity and Christian living is on being simple. Let us not expect supernatural things. Christianity is not based on miracles. Christianity is based on resurrection. Christ who resurrected. Christianity is based on love, giving food to the hungry, clothing the naked, visiting the sick. These simple things we do every day, telling somebody good morning. For example, how would I have known that when I was with him, talking with him, we even took tea together, even used my arm to celebrate Mass, because he said we are the same size. I never knew that simplicity is where we shall get hope from. So I've discovered simplicity, and that's what my Christians are doing.
Amazing. What a way to end this conversation. Thank you so much, Father Dan Male, for giving us a preview on the life of this particular amazing man that has been selected, the first American Pope to be elected as Pope, of course, of the Roman faithful across the world, Pope Leo the 14th. Thank you so much, Father Dan, for sharing with us these particular insights. Thank you so much for your time.